Well, good morning, everyone. You're taking a live look over the K right now with clear skies, lots and lots of sunshine. But man, oh man, our looks deceiving because we're still dealing with a freeze warning out there. Temperatures kind of hovering around the freezing mark, but we're going to continue to increase temperature, and we'll be out of this freeze warning as we move up to 9 a.m. Until then, a first warn in place. It's kind of annoying, though, don't you think? Because you head out the door and you really want to put on a heavier jacket or a sweater, right? But by the time we make it to lunchtime, you're not going to need it anymore. So you got to take it off. You got to throw it somewhere, maybe in the back of the car, maybe somewhere, at your desk, and you forget about it the next day. Yeah, it's just kind of an annoying situation that we have to go through here. But that's what the Midwest is. Just a wild ride with our weather forecast, right? Going from great temperatures in the 70s, dropping down into the 30s, and now we're on our way to something a bit more seasonable, and then finally, big warmth on top for us, especially as we make it on into the weekend. So good morning to you guys. Hey, First Warn 5 meteorologist Greg Bennett here. I'm so glad to join with you guys this morning. It's a cold start, I get it, but you know what? A hot cup of coffee, cranking up the heat in the car is going to do you some good, and we're going to be out of this chilly trend as we move forward here. So this is what I want to talk about, right? This is what the Tuesday's forecast is all about. Freeze warning in place, freezing conditions here. We warm up fast, lots of sunshine this afternoon, and in fact, we've got a UV ray index that puts us on the high side. There's a 40-minute burn time today. So if you're going to be outdoors for more than 40 minutes at a time, slapping on sunscreen is not a bad idea. All the way around, though, it will be an excellent afternoon ahead of us as we make it to the early evening, and maybe you're going to head to the K. Be ready for the wind to pick up a little bit. Occasional gusts at 20 miles per hour, looking pretty plausible for us. So with all that being said, let's keep on keeping on and show you what's going on in the forecast. The temperature profile is first. And this is where we have some good news. All right, so here we are, starting to see late morning, the 40s start to reach into the forecast, and by literally 2 hours later, lunchtime, we're creeping into the 50s. This is where you don't have to worry about any kind of a wind chill value anymore or feel like temperatures, because we're going to be above that criteria, and then we continue to crank up the warmth from there. I've got 62 degrees around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Our average temperatures are going to range between 62 and 64 degrees today. Our average high is 64. So we're right there in the wheelhouse. It's a little bit on the cooler side if we're really, splitting hairs here, but we're definitely in the wheelhouse of where we're supposed to be for the beginning of April, all right? Plenty of sunshine out there. Notice how we start to increase the cloud content moving into the overnight, and check this out. I want you to really watch these temperatures. They don't fall much, do they? Not really, right? Low 50s into the overnight and early morning of our Wednesday's forecast. But the cloud cover is going to be out there, and there are opportunities for some wet weather. So what we're doing is we're getting into a southerly component with our wind. And we do have ourselves an area of low pressure and a warm front that are out there. And we're going to kind of sort of draw that for you because we're not seeing a whole lot here when it comes down to the satellite radar system, right? Obviously, it's clear. But what we're dealing with is an area of low pressure that's about here. And then it's got a warm front. I'm going to grab this. And it's got a warm front that's doing one of these. Whee! And it's got ourselves a little bit, technically it's a stationary front now, but it will become a cold front, and it's draping down like so. So this particular low pressure system in its warm front is going to continue to move to the east-northeast, about like so, kind of in this direction here, as we move into the next 24 hours. As that happens, let me go ahead and take off what I just put on, that right there. As that happens, this warm front that we've got, this guy right here, this is going to lift up over the Kansas City metro, all right? As it does that, it pulls warmer, moist air with it. And what we have that coincides with the warm front is a lot of cloud cover and light to moderate shower activity. Sometimes it can be very broad and widespread. Other times it could be isolated to scattered. And what we're going to be dealing with, because of the direction the weather pattern is going to take, This is going to give us, well, a little bit of isolated to scattered shower activity on top of increasing our temperature. All right, so it's kind of like a catch-22, if you will. That being said, let's go ahead to the future forecast model and show you what we're talking about here. So there's Tuesday evening. I want to show you that we're trying to build up some cloud cover out there. This is where we could see gusts at about 20 miles per hour. As we move into the overnight, you can see how we bring in that hefty cloud content. That's the warm front and the low pressure system working with us here. We're getting some moisture. We're getting that warmer air. It keeps our temperatures in the 50s all overnight long. And then we get to the morning and we start to bring in some of that green there. There it is. Just some scattered showers, maybe a light drizzle here and there. Some of this may just be misting action that happens. It's not a lot of detrimental wet weather, but it's enough to be a nuisance. It's enough for you to grab the umbrella. It's one more thing to think about. You may be dealing with the window wipers, on and off, a little bit of wet roadways. So just a bit more caution on the road instead of, hightailing it to work. Maybe give yourself about 5 extra minutes. That should be plenty enough for you guys to really be careful on the roadways there. You might actually get to work a little bit earlier, right? So that's what we're dealing with for our Wednesday. And the same thing could be said technically into Thursday's forecast too. You can see by 11 o'clock at night, we're kind of sort of reforming, rebuilding some of that wet weather. We'll be on the backside of that weather pattern, that low pressure system and that front. And when that happens, we will cool the forecast slightly. Okay, so we'll go from temperatures pushing up because we're going to lift that warm front over our area. We're going to push up to the 70s for Wednesday afternoon. But remember, we got cloud cover. It's going to be gray, kind of wet or damp out the door. Maybe a few isolated drizzles, especially for the morning. Now, the backside of the storm system will bring in some cooler air, just a little bit. It's not bad. We'll drop down to 67 and then back down to about 64. And then we start to see a drier pattern take over. That starts Friday, and with it comes a surge of warm air out of the southwest. That's going to push us to the 70s, and then as we move on into Sunday, I've got a confident 81 degrees right now. I mean, that's basically the beginning of summer with those kinds of temperatures, right? So warm air is coming through, and it's coming with mostly sunny skies. Now, there's a catch here, okay? The catch is this. Oh, campaign. I don't know why the campaign came up, but there you go. The catch is this. We've got ourselves gusty conditions that's going to take over for us, okay? So what'll happen is the storm system takes out, high pressure starts to come in, but we'll be in the squeeze of that pressure, okay? Which means that we're going to bottleneck the air. It's going to squeeze in between the pressure systems here, and that's going to allow some breezy or gusty conditions. Technically, it should be coming out of the south for us. So be prepared for some higher wind out there, maybe gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour as we make it into the beginning of our weekend. All right. Other than that, it's going to be a beautiful forecast for all of us to be out and about and doing things, getting things done. All right. So that's your forecast. It is now 7:42 in the morning right now. I've got to let you guys go, but I'm going to leave you with a beautiful look over the K right now, and it should be a decent day for some baseball. Temperatures should be around 60 degrees for the start of the game, but we could see an occasional gust out of the south-southeast at about 20 miles per hour. By the end of the game, we'll be around 55 degrees.